So Sridhar, we talked about unemployment here.
Yeah.
I'll share a very recent incident that happened in Gujarat. So there was this interview happening and job vacancies were 10, right? And 1,800 people applied for those 10 jobs, right? And the interview was happening inside a hotel, and hotel management couldn't control that kind of crowd, and there was this stampede-like situation in the hotel. So, like, what's this problem? Like, why is it happening?
See, India has a huge unemployment problem. So clearly, like, there are very few jobs and lots of people wanting those jobs. I think that's the bottom line here. But we need to solve this problem. While we do say that there are lots of job seekers and very few jobs, ILO also had a report, which I read a few years back actually, which said that India will have 29 million jobs which will go unfilled because we don't have the right skills of people to fill those jobs. Right? So we have that problem too. So there's a huge skills mismatch. Most people who come out of college are unfit for any job. They just don't have the skills which the market wants. So our education system and like the jobs are sort of not in sync. So I think that's like one big problem. If you look at people who are less educated, they all have jobs, but they have jobs which are underpaid. And like, if you look at formal jobs, only some 14% of the people earn more than 20,000 rupees a month. Amongst the informal, casual labor, those kind of jobs, about only 8% of the people earn more than 10,000 rupees a month. So we have those kind of situations where people who are not very skilled, not very educated, have some jobs. They take up whatever job they can get. They are not technically unemployed, but they have really bad jobs, right? So I think we have that huge problem. So we have to fix some things, right? So what do? We can't just keep like saying, yeah, we'll just educate people, we'll get them jobs. No, it doesn't work that way. You've got to create, I think one is we've got to create, manufacturing has typically been the place where a large number of people who want to transition from agriculture to non-agricultural jobs can come. Agriculture employing 55% of our population contributes only 15% to our GDP, right? So it's obviously a very non-productive enterprise. If more and we have added another 70 million people to agriculture in the last 3-4 years. So I think that's not a great place to go. You got to get people out into manufacturing and services. Services jobs typically end up hiring people who are, I think the good jobs in services and the growth in jobs in services has largely been in people with higher skills. Even manufacturing is requiring people with greater skills today than they did in the past. But manufacturing nevertheless has an opportunity for people with low-end skills to join. So we cannot ignore manufacturing and say that we'll just leapfrog this. India did. We sort of missed the manufacturing boat due to some of the reasons we talked about the small scale sector, the labor situation, poor infrastructure, etc. Manufacturing didn't take off. Now, today things are getting better, but our focus is now gone into services and we're thinking we just grow in services. That's not possible. I think we need to grow manufacturing also. I think, so that's something that I did write about sometime recently. I was reviewing a book written by Raghuram Rajan on ideas for the new economy. It's called Breaking the Mold. And there I talked about, while Raghuram Rajan talks about India has to become for services what China was for manufacturing, I agree 100% with that. India should become, we are well positioned to do so, but it's not a zero-sum game. You can do both, right? So I think we need to look at manufacturing. We can't afford to ignore it because we have a large number of people who are unemployed, unskilled, young, needing jobs. And manufacturing is the first step for them they can take. If they work for the next 10 years in manufacturing, that's fine. Maybe they'll shift to services afterwards. But the point is, let them get some jobs today. So for that, we need to sort of push for our manufacturing. India is doing a lot of work in terms of PLIs, etc., in order to make that happen. This performance-linked incentives, productivity-linked incentives. But the point is that the intention behind it was to grow manufacturing, grow our capability, create some global leaders, at the same time increase our number of people, provide jobs for a large number of people. I don't think that the PLI schemes that we have so far, huge amounts of money have been allocated for it. But I think if you're talking about it as a potential for increasing jobs, that's not happened. Maybe today they might tweak the PLI scheme to sort of make it more linked to job creation. But the way it stands today, it has nothing to do with job creation, right? So the incentive, somebody can come, set up something, and like they'll get those incentives, but it's not connected to how many jobs they created. So I think that's a fix that needs to happen.